All right, guys, check it out. I thought I was going to be done talking about the Eagles because it's the same thing every week. I said, I'm ready for the Sixers stuff to happen. I'm ready to start talking about the Sixers. But then, of course, I started listening, reading, watching a couple things this morning, and I formed some opinions about yesterday that I didn't have in my screaming live rant. So the first thing I want to say is this. Why does Miles Sanders not get the ball enough? I mean, what possibly could be the issue? What could be the reason for it? So I started breaking it down, and I started looking at some stats because I know off the top of my head that Miles Sanders leads the league in rushes in yards per carry, right? But yesterday, he gets the ball 18 times. No, I'm sorry. The Eagles only ran the ball total 18 times. Miles Sanders only had the ball 15 times. Boston Scott had 3. Now, you would think in a situation where your quarterback has been being erratic, has been making some bad decisions, you would think part of your game plan moving forward would be to take some pressure off of your quarterback by, running the ball a little bit more, right? And it's not like they weren't having success running the ball. They were. Miles Sanders was getting some holes. He had 88 yards on 15 carries. The offensive line was creating space. Doug Pederson just chooses to not run the ball, period. And the 3rd and 3 play where, Miles just got done running for 7 yards. And then on 3rd and 3, they run the little Jalen Reagor pick play that they've run a million times. It hardly ever works. That's what Doug Pederson does. For some reason, he's obsessed with making Carson Wentz make the decision. Carson Wentz has not been good at making decisions this year. Carson needs to be better, yes. But Doug needs to put the decision-making in someone else's hands once in a while. I was just comparing Kirk Cousins and Carson Wentz because I think the Minnesota Vikings and the Philadelphia Eagles are kind of similar, where their quarterback isn't totally trusted right now to carry them to the promised land, right? So what do? Dalvin Cook has only played in 6 games, the same amount of games that Miles Sanders has played in. Miles Sanders has 86 carries in 6 games. Dalvin Cook has 144. Right? This is what I'm saying. Kirk Cousins, who has a 97 passer rating, he's not nearly as bad as Carson Wentz this year, but he's only thrown the ball 194 times. Carson Wentz has thrown the ball 386. The disparity is incredible. The lack of balance is unbelievable. So teams like the Tennessee Titans, obviously, they rely heavily on the run game. Derrick Henry leads the league in yards, leads the league in carries, everything, right? Where's yards per attempt? Here we go. Dalvin Cook is actually tied with Miles Sanders now with 6 yards per carry. Miles Sanders, 6 yards per carry. Nick Chubb, 6.1. These are the league leaders right here. You understand what I'm saying? So, what do the attempts look like? Miles Sanders, 86. Dalvin Cook, 144. It's unbelievable, the disparity. The fact that Miles Sanders doesn't get the ball, I can't figure it out. I don't understand it. I'm never going to understand it. Something has to change here. How many weeks does the front office just sit back in their office chairs and let Doug Pederson do the same thing? How many weeks do they allow Doug Pederson to come up with the game plan? How many weeks do they say, maybe it's going to be better next week? I don't know. We have a bye week, 2 weeks now to prepare for this game. Maybe Doug will come out with a game plan that makes sense. Same thing again. Same problems. It all comes down to the game plan and play calling. It's all the same problems every week. How long do we go before we make a change? I'm not talking about firing Doug Pederson in the middle of the season. I'm talking about giving the play calling to somebody else. How long do we go? Now, once you're done looking at the Eagles refuse to run the ball and they put all the pressure on Carson Wentz and the offensive line and pass protection, then you say, okay, so this is what we're working with. So what was the problem in that? Was Carson Wentz really bad, or was the offensive line really bad? Carson Wentz got hit 18 times yesterday. Maybe 13. Either way, it's too many. 13 times yesterday he got hit. All right? I'm not saying he's making great decisions. The Jalen Reagor pick play, Carson hesitated to throw it when he was supposed to throw it, and then threw it way too late on 3rd and 3. The Reagor play where he's running down the sideline, Carson throws a stop route, Rager's running a go route. He overthrew Alshon Jeffrey on a 3rd down. 0 for 9 on 3rd down is unreal. But at some point as a head coach, you have to say, okay, we got to do something different. Maybe we got to run the ball on 3rd and 3. Maybe we have to let somebody else make the play because Carson isn't doing it. The offensive line. Now, here's the answer to the question. Who was bad, the offensive line or Carson Wentz? The answer is both, all right? He was hit 13 times, but he made bad decisions and inaccurate throws on 3rd down. But let's look at the offensive line. Matt Pryor at right guard gave up 5 pressures. 5. His man, 101, hit Carson Wentz 5 times in this game. Why in the world is Jason Peters at left tackle? You made that move. Everybody that knows anything about football was screaming about how stupid that move was. To pay Jason Peters more money to move to left tackle, right? Everybody was screaming about it, but you went through with it. Jordan Mailata comes out, starts playing great while Jason Peters is out. Jason Peters comes back, and instead of making the right football decision and saying, we're putting Peters back at right guard, we're putting Mailata at left tackle, you put Mailata on the bench to put Peters at left tackle and put Matt Pryor at right guard. It just doesn't make sense. And the answer is that Howie Roseman is still running the show with money. Whoever's paid the most money is on the field. The fact that Alshon Jeffrey was out there for 8 plays is pathetic. That's so stupid to me, it's unbelievable. You guys preached to us that Alshon Jeffrey was ready to go. He's 100% healthy, finally. Here he is, he's ready to go. He played 13 snaps. Where did he go? I don't understand. Somebody explain it to me. Where did Alshon go? I'm really starting to think he has to play a certain, I didn't look at the intangibles of his contract, but I'm starting to think he has to play a minimum amount of snaps through the season to get a certain amount of guaranteed money. So he's making sure he comes back and plays those number of snaps. He played 2 series and went home. But the offensive line decision is just ridiculous. Why is Jordan Mailata on the bench? Why is Matt Pryor out there? Just do it the right way. Like I said yesterday, it reminds me of the Sixers. They overpaid Al Horford. So Brett Brown and these guys had to try to force Al Horford on the court next to Joel Embiid when it logically, basketball analytically didn't make any sense. But they created the lineups by who was being paid the most money instead of what makes sense. What else do I have here? And by the way, this is the last Eagles video for a while. I'm getting into Sixers trade things. I'm getting into Sixers free agent things. I'm getting into all that because it's just driving me nuts. I can't sit here and say the same things all the time. The same thing happens every week. What can I really say in a pregame? All right, here's what has to happen for the Eagles to turn this around. How many weeks can I say that? Because I know that it's not going to happen. I'm lying to myself if I sit here and say, Doug Pederson needs to be more creative. Doug Pederson needs to run the ball more. Carson Wentz needs to make the right decisions. None of these things are happening. They're not even leaning towards happening. So why am I going to keep saying the same thing? When will the front office make a change? When? How many weeks is the front office going to sit back and let Doug Pederson do the same thing over and over? It's time for somebody else to call the plays. It's time for somebody else to be drawing up a game plan. Because the fact that you had 2 weeks to prepare for that New York Giants team, and that's the game plan you came out with, Miles Sanders, who was as 7 yards a carry yesterday, only carried the ball 15 times. That's the game plan you came up with? Little pick plays on 3rd and 3, Jalen Hurts still out here for no reason, fumbling the ball, going for two when you don't need to go for two, period. It doesn't make sense. The same things we've been complaining about Doug Pederson, he's still doing. I've never seen so much stubbornness in one person. People are calling for Deuce Staley to be the offensive coordinator. And I say no to that because I don't like Deuce Staley's running back rotations when he was in charge of it. When last year you would randomly see Wendell Smallwood on the field on a 3rd and 1. But maybe that was Doug Pederson. Maybe that wasn't Deuce Staley. I don't know. At this point, I say give the play calling to Deuce Staley. One thing he's definitely going to do is run the ball a lot more than 18 damn times. The Giants ran the ball 36 times yesterday. Did you guys see the DeAndre Hopkins catch to win the game yesterday? Kyler Murray rolls out, heaves it into triple coverage in the back of the end zone. And the number one receiver in the league catches it for a touchdown. A receiver that was traded for a 2nd and a 4th round pick that Howie Roseman refused to get. And on the play where Carson hesitated to Jalen Reagor, it told me one thing. He's either throwing a lot of interceptions, making a lot of bad decisions, or he's playing like he played yesterday, where he's hesitant and he's questioning himself every play because he doesn't want to throw an interception. Now Carson Wentz is just in his own head. He really is. He can't find a middle ground. He's either erratic, making dumb plays that result in turnovers, or he's questioning himself because he's trying not to throw interceptions and make turnovers, and he's missing the plays and missing the timing because of that. He can't find a middle ground right now. Carson Wentz is totally lost this season. He is not himself. And nobody's helping him out. He's a grown man. He needs to figure it out himself, but this coaching staff needs to be in his head and putting him in situations of practice to help him figure it out. What's the reason for it? Why do you think Carson Wentz played the way he played in 2017? There was no pressure. Then he comes back 2018 and Nick Foles is sitting on the sideline and people are calling, Nick Foles won the Super Bowl. We should be playing Nick Foles. So there's pressure, right? They get rid of Nick Foles. 2019, no pressure. Carson goes out, throws for 4,000 yards. First quarterback ever to throw for 4,000 yards without having a receiver go over 500 because he was thrown to the practice squad. Greg Ward Jr. was his number one receiver. Drags him to the playoffs. This year, Howie Roseman and Doug Pederson sit back and say, hey, we haven't had a quarterback controversy for an entire season. We got to fix this. We need a quarterback controversy, or we want a quarterback factory. So they go out and they draft Jalen Hurts. And now there's pressure on Carson Wentz because you created another quarterback controversy. I said that when he was drafted. It was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. You created another quarterback controversy. Now Carson's out here overthinking everything because he knows if he keeps throwing interceptions and making bad decisions, he's going to get benched for Jalen Hurts. So now he's questioning himself, he's hesitant, and he's missing his timing. Do you see how this affects a quarterback? You don't play the game anticipating a quarterback injury. If your starting quarterback goes down, you're done. That's how the NFL works. Nick Foles winning the Super Bowl was an anomaly. It's not going to happen again. Backup quarterbacks don't do that. Teddy Bridgewater had a nice run with the Saints. He didn't win the Super Bowl because he was a backup quarterback. It just is what it is. You try to make your starting team as good as they can possibly be for the upcoming season. You don't waste a second-round pick on a quarterback. And this too. Now that they wasted a second-round pick on that quarterback, they have to put him on the field. They have to. Whoever drafted him, whosever decision it was, I'm thinking Howie Roseman, they got to put him on the field. Now, they won't let him throw the ball for some reason, so they keep putting him out there to run these stupid read option plays like we're playing in the ACC. It doesn't work in the NFL. But they keep putting them out there. They keep doing the same thing. That's the ultimate point here. We are doing the same thing every week and seeing the same results. When is something going to change? What incentive is there to even watch the game next week? What would tell us, oh, I should go watch this Eagles game because something's going to be different? Why would that happen? You're not giving us any reason to watch it. Something's got to change. That's all I'm saying, man. You guys give me all your thoughts and opinions in the comments. My name is DJ Eastwood. This is Run It Back, home of the most brutally honest Philly sports takes on YouTube. Some people don't like it, but it's because some people don't like the truth. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Hit the like button. If you like me, hit the dislike button if you hate my guts. Let's move on to some Sixers videos. Peace.